Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue is still spinning on those ones and twos, and we have a great show for you because Johnny
do.
DJ'd all last night, walking around the streets of L.A. with a nice high-def camera. We had our gear on. We were running all around. It was really kind of crazy yesterday, fam.
It was very crazy.
Even though I'm excited to do the show because we have a lot of great footage and we were actually there and we can tell you what went on through and through because we were all there, three of us, spread out, all over, literally. Johnny's in the front of the rally. I'm in the back of the rally. Fiorella's walking through. She streamed the whole night. Yep. Johnny's got a ton of footage. I got a ton of footage. We talked to people. We can tell you the whole gist, the whole kind of energy.
Yeah.
Right?
And we can tell you, like, unbiased, because we weren't, we're not members of Black Lives Matter. We're not, but we are activists in our community. We know a lot of these people.
Yeah.
We've been here for a while. And we can tell you exactly what happened in a way that it happened and how people were really shocked. And it's different to see aerial footage that is completely cut to make it look like something. And it's interesting to see the mainstream media and how they have framed this and blamed it on the protesters.
Yeah.
It's really unnerving as independent media, especially because we're over there doing this and they're just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. The protesters attacked the two police officers and they did it. And this is how they frame it. And they did such a good job in framing this. And they continue to do that. And people buy it. People buy it. They say, oh, look, this is what happens. This is a right-wing media. This is a left-wing media. This is how everything happens. And we saw it, how they would twist it in real time. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. And when you got to remember, when you go to these rallies, Black Lives Matter through the rally, right? Maybe 1% of the people at the rally were part of the actual Black Lives Matter group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have people protesting for the first time yesterday, and there's like a lot of homeless people that join in and whatnot. So really, you can't put everything on the protesters themselves or Black Lives Matter.
No.
There are some faults to go around. We're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss the whole situation. But first, what I want you all to do, if you're hanging out on the YouTubes or the Twitter, go on over to our ROKFIN, ROKFIN, following this show. We're going to do our Ask Us Questions kind of show.
Anything,
Who you got beef with kind of show I think we might do. We don't know. We're just going to have fun. And it's exclusively for our ROKFIN patrons or ROKFIN join-ups. You don't have to endorse us to watch this. It will be a free stream off the ROKFIN. But you got to get over there, ROKFIN, because Twitter's censoring Trump. YouTube censoring us. We need ROKFIN to save us all. Not to compare ourselves to Donald Trump, though.
Yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate, first of all, just so you guys know the background, Black Lives Matter does this every Wednesday at 4 p.m. right in front of Jackie Lacey's office right here.
Yeah.
She is the DA, district attorney of Los Angeles, and she has been terrible. She's a Democrat. She's also a Black woman. Black Lives Matter has been protesting her for a while because she refuses to prosecute killer cops. She refused to prosecute Ed Buck. She refused to prosecute the number of cops that have been killing unarmed people of color in Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles is one of the areas where we have the most interactions in law enforcement and people. There's a whole heap of that happening all the time. And then the Democratic Party gets involved and of course, they're involved in that. They get money, and they're not at all protecting the people that are being killed. There was a guy that was killed, 24-Hour Fitness, which is why one of the reasons they protest 24-Hour Fitness. Black Lives Matter chapter, I have been around it in LA. I have not seen, besides ideological differences in certain things, I haven't, a lot of people were like, who's funding this? This is not. Nobody, there's not like a rich person behind funding this protest. And I understand that this happens all over the world, but this was a legitimate protest ignited because of what's been happening all over, specifically Minneapolis. Now, the national chapters, those may be a different story. As things get bigger and more centralized, we find ourselves having problems. Same thing with DSA. Again, it depends on the chapter, our revolution, all this stuff. This is how it is. But this chapter I can vouch for. I haven't seen anything.
I wasn't crazy about, we remember the Ed Buck situation when they went outside of Ed Buck's house and they were standing in solidarity with some people. They started yelling at some of the tenants, and the tenants kind of went back and forth. I thought it was kind of a stupid move by Black Lives Matter to say, what do you mean you want us to call the cops when we saw a situation going on? We don't know if we're supposed to call the cops or not supposed to call the cops. They kind of would keep it to themselves, but they joined the people in solidarity. There were some people, and let me tell you something, a lot of these people within the Black Lives Matter group in LA, They are really sharp. They remove some of the people from the group that they don't feel is necessary.
Yep.
Once again, I don't know deeply about it. Fam went to a few of these Wednesday bye Jackie Lacey or bye Jackie Lacey protest. But this, once again, this was pretty good last night. I thought, really, to tell you the truth, despite what happened on the road, I thought it was a very peaceful protest.
Yep.
We had passed many cops, many cop cars. Nobody was smashing anything or vandalizing anything.
Nope.
But I think we got to go check tape, fam, and then kind of break it down, because a lot of people attacked us yesterday for some of our reporting. Now, the only thing I would say we'll stand up for is maybe the mistake of LAPD versus California Highway Patrol. It was in the moment. We didn't see CHP until that moment.
Yeah.
It was all LAPD. Okay, so we corrected it there. We understand the significance of, the historic Los Angeles Police Department and the awful things they've done. So we corrected that. But aside from that, I'm going to say this again. We stand behind what we said. We were there. We saw it. We'll show the footage, and then we'll break it down. Right, fam?
Yeah.
Johnny, Rebel Media, true Rebel Media.
Okay.
Well, that's one shot.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to the aerial, fam, which everybody talks about, the aerial shows, the aerial shows. We'll break this shit down.
And halting traffic. A CHP cruiser is quickly hemmed in, and demonstrators block its forward movement. A support rally this evening by Black Lives Matter near the Hall of Justice began peacefully. Within minutes, though, several hundred protesters march onto the 101 freeway, holding up signs and halting traffic. A CHP cruiser is quickly hemmed in, and demonstrators block its forward movement. Several of the protesters hit and kick the vehicle. Others jump onto the hood as it moves forward. Then as the officer accelerates, people hop off, except one man, who tumbles off onto the pavement. As a second CHP unit goes to check on him, people attack that car, at one point throwing a board through the back window. Firefighters eventually arrived to treat the man, who was helped to his feet and placed on a gurney to the delight of the crowd.
Maybe they show the whole video again in its entirety towards the back of it?
The demonstrator...
No. Okay. Yeah, I mean, also, I think my, that's it right there. Here, it's important to see this one angle too when we watch this here, because this kind of tells the whole story. Because the whole point of it is a lot of people will talk about the person jumping on the hood, and you should pay attention to them, the gentleman who jumped on the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because what their whole intention was is just to stop traffic. They wanted to cause damage. They want to threaten anybody. They want to beat up any cop cars, regardless of what you hear. And here it is right here. As you can see, they jumped over the rail. So now check this out. Now the cop car should stop right there. See where he is? He's about 100 feet. But see how he keeps approaching? He keeps approaching. He keeps slowly approaching. Right there, stop. He keeps approaching. He keeps approaching. He keeps approaching. Can you zoom in there, Johnny, to watch this now? Because now there's the guy in front right here. They're just trying to stop the cop right there. So now you can see they're not pounding anything. They're just stopping the car. But here goes the cop now. He starts moving forward. Yep. He starts moving forward. He starts moving forward. He starts pushing his way through the fucking crowd, and at this whole time have his sirens, and people are just jumping on the hood saying, stop the car. Another dude jumps on the hood, it speeds off, and then he jumps off. Okay? And there he is, left.
I don't think he necessarily jumps off. I mean, he has no other choice.
Yeah, he's got no choice. He's not,
and the guy started speeding up, and he basically had to fall off. And this is a really good point, because if the cop hadn't have done that and had gone the other way, which was completely open,
or just
like everybody else, or just stop. The point of the protest is to stop traffic, so you pay attention. And by the way, doing that is a very, very common thing. It's not just Black Lives Matter that does it or that did it this time. It's every other protest that you can imagine. Yeah. You literally stop traffic symbolically to get people's attention. Yeah. That's how you do it. I mean, what else are you going to do? People aren't paying attention. They're still caught up in their lives. So that's the whole thing. It's always been symbolically. People have done that. So to the people that are like, well, why were they on the highway? Well, that's why. I mean.
All right. Yeah. Well, Paul Smokes Pot says the cop did the right thing. They broke the window and they could have hurt him or shoot him. Listen, here's the thing.
With what weapons are they going to shoot him? They're holding fucking signs.
Yeah. And once again, this is an hour, almost 2 hours into this protest. There has been no violence. There has been nothing. We walked through the streets of L.A. The L.A. cops were pretty well behaved or what Fiorella says, they were actually doing their job for a change. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of weird. I was like, why is this car coming up from behind? Because they weren't doing any of that stuff. They were just trying to be very peaceful, move people along. And I was like, why is the car coming up from behind? Turns out it was a California Highway Patrol, probably not talking to the L.A. Police Department. And the dude did something so fucking stupid. As soon as he pulled up and those people jumped the rail, there was like 50 of them. You stop your car. He should have got out of his car. He was 100 feet away from everybody. Turn around and stop the traffic behind him. Yeah. Protect the protesters.
The point was to stop traffic. Nobody there was going to attack a cop car. That was not the point. Yeah. Like, there were other cop cars we passed, and that's why I want to show my video, too, later on, because that one shows also, like, we were walking past other vehicles. Nobody was attacking anything. And, of course, what he should have done was stop the car.
See, at this point right here, stop. Look how far away the cop car is. Boom. He's over 100 feet away, but he keeps moving up, and you have crowds dispersing, coming up, and he keeps moving up. If he would have stopped there or pulled over to the right and got out, he was fine. He could have put, Johnny, how many things could he have done? When we were entering the freeway, the bicycle cops.
He just could have stopped there.
Anything.
And somebody else could have been like, okay, guys.
Yeah, you can see them. They're pissed off there. They're saying, stop your car, stop your car.
When he accelerated, that's when they started. You see
now the other guy's jumping on, like, it's like that kind of thing.
Why are you accelerating? And then he accelerates, boop, it goes off. And we're not the only people that saw this. I mean, other people were there.
Hey, Johnny, can you play the part when he jumps off the car, too, as well? Because I think you have to show, we talked about this, too, as well. Once he got clear of the crowd and the guy was on the car, could he have slowed down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Could have he said, hey, man, let me slow down and get this guy off the car?
Absolutely. He could have slowed down. He could have done a number of things.
Yeah. What he did do was the wrong thing. And for people who say it makes no sense to stop traffic, why would you be a dummy and stop traffic?
It makes no sense to you because people are getting killed all the time. Like, how much more do you think people talk about the riots, people talk about this. Why aren't we addressing where this is coming from? This isn't coming out of nowhere just because people are on a whim and they want to cause trouble. Let's stop that right there. People are being killed by the police all the time. Now
check this out. Now here he is. John, he's clear of the crowd. At this point, can he slow down and let the guy off?
He can slow down right there.
Right there. He's clear of the crowd, but he keeps accelerating.
And then just motionless body.
Yeah.
He was down there for about 20 minutes. I was so
unconscious.
And let me tell you something. I am not like there's people on here saying I'm a black man and the Black Lives movement, Black Lives Matter movement is embarrassing. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to say it is or it isn't. But yesterday's protest, they did nothing wrong. The leaderships of the organizers of the program did a great job.
Yeah.
They wanted to stop traffic, and I feel if that's all they want to do is stop traffic. When you're talking what's going on in Minneapolis and stuff, a man was killed like a dog in the street with a knee on his fucking neck.
Yeah.
You have to put this whole protest into context. And as if they want to stop traffic for a little while, is that going to really hurt things, fam?
Yeah.
They weren't looting things and breaking any things. Also, John, let's talk about the guy who threw the skateboard through the fucking window.
Yeah.
He lost his skateboard.
He lost his skateboard. But once again, he wasn't really a Black Lives Matter representative at all. It wasn't one of those people. It was some white kid with a skateboard who looked like he was just skating in downtown LA and decided to join the fucking protest. And that happens. That's common in these protests.
Yep.
There's a lot of homeless people in LA. They join the protest and
Yep.
stuff. I saw a homeless guy. I thought he was going to beat the cops up. He was like, had his fist there. The guy was playing the guitar. I mean, it's just like he looked very unmedicated and looked very upset.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's what these things are about. All they wanted to do was stop traffic.
That's it.
So fam, I have some questions that I wrote down and I think we should discuss them real quick.
Yeah.
Because many people took to social media. A friend of yours was kind of chastising your reporting and our reporting.
Uh-huh.
We know who that is.
Uh-huh.
But here's the questions.
Wait, before we answer the question,
Yes.
can you just quickly show some of the pictures that you had?
The one that you did, right?
Yeah. Well, in the video. Yeah,
You want your video?
Yeah, the video. We can just show the video because a lot of people don't know what.
LAPD must be stopped! LAPD must be stopped!
This is the energy.
County sheriffs must be stopped! County sheriffs must be stopped! Jackie Lacey must go! Jackie Lacey must go! Jackie Lacey will go! Jackie Lacey will go!
So we got on the highway. So that was when we made it on the highway. And cars were some of them like in solidarity.
We're getting on the highway.
The LA Police Department was stopping other cars, telling them not to drive. The LA Police Department biked onto the fucking goddamn highway and said, stop. And then some lady was screaming. And he's like, I don't care. Stop your car. Put it in park. Do not move. And then some people.
And so this is here we are.
Fuck the police!
Go to the other side of the highway. Everybody's just holding signs. Nobody's doing anything. Past cars. Fuck, dude. Hold on. And then here's the part where the car starts, all that's happening with the car over there. Whoa! And then we just see a body drop.
Holy shit! Holy
And
shit!
everybody's like, what the fuck is going on?
And they broke that back window too. At that
I had
point.
to put my phone down and go over the ledge.
I dropped my phone trying to jump over that ledge. I was like rolling on my stomach, John, like a fat kid getting out of the pool to try to get over the ledge.
And I just want to say this part was really, I don't want to say traumatizing. It was really shocking. A lot of us were in shock. We thought he was gone. We thought he was dead. So,
Yeah.
And just seeing a body fall, it was like a rag doll. Like he just fell like a rag doll. And it was really shocking to see. So like everybody's initial reaction was like panic. Oh my god, what do we do? Blah blah blah. Like people were freaking out.
Yeah.
Like it's not a normal thing to see, especially for me to see the cop drive off like that. Like
Yeah.
just not care. Just okay, I'm gonna drive off. I'm not buying the whole protecting his safety. He is in a car with weapons.
Yeah.
And
Well-
later on, Johnny and I, they had riot gear, and we're gonna show that later. He had fucking riot gear.
Yeah.
Riot gear. Oh, they were so heavily armed compared to the protesters who had no arms.
Well, we should talk about that because a lot of people say, was the officer justified in speeding up with the person on his hood after the skateboard was thrown through the rear view window? And could he have slowed down by the time he cleared the crowd? So I just like to say that, I mean, that's kind of like, you really can't take the story from that part. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, was he justified from that point as they were surrounding the car and whatnot? But what happened before that?
Yeah.
To get there, I think, is the important part.
He put himself in there.
He put himself in that position. He put a lot of people's lives in danger by doing that.
And they didn't throw the skateboard until after he was speeding up.
Yeah.
And as an authority, like, you should know better.
At 100%.
You're supposed to be here. These are kids. These are young kids. You're supposed to be.
Okay. But what about the protester himself? Was he at fault for jumping on the hood? Because a lot of people are saying, well, he just jumped on the hood and stuff. But when he was jumping on the hood, it was a lot of people trying to get that cop car
to stop. Yeah.
So I don't want to say that I would justify him jumping on the hood because it didn't look like a right move to do.
It didn't look like a safe thing to do.
But a lot of people were just trying to stop the car. And that's, and a friend of mine, if you want to call him a friend, who chastised us on this whole situation. I was actually at a rally standing hand in hand with him in front of a car, and he told me, they can't run us over. They have to stop.
Yeah.
Why is this any fucking different?
Yeah. Why is that any fucking
Why
different?
is this any different? What justified the cop car trying to push his way through a crowd?
He literally sped with a body of somebody there. He saw him. He knew he was there. He sped up so the guy could fall. And then that happened.
Yeah.
I guess it's this CHP officer was like, oh, fuck.
Well, yeah, because they threw something through his back window, too.
They wanted to help him.
Yeah.
His window was still fine until his window's still fine. But, when there's a protest going on, there's not really.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was fine to drive away.
If your fellow CHP officer just did that.
Yeah.
It sucks.
You need a different authority there because
it was so dumb.
Enemy. You look like the enemy there.
Well, this is the big question. Should the CHP cruiser vehicle halted when 30 people jumped to the rail in front of him over the divider and he had 100 feet away from the vehicle? Or was he justified in driving through that crowd?
He didn't have to necessarily get out of his car. He could have just stopped, and then I think people would have. These people weren't looking to beat up a police car until they felt
to stop traffic.
They were looking to stop traffic until they felt like this guy doesn't give a shit. He's going through the crowd, and then until he started speeding up with the kid on him is when they started throwing stuff at him. And then they were angry that the guy sped off and they saw a body that they started throwing more stuff because that's like,
yes.
Well,
angry. At that point, Johnny, you have my
like,
tweet, the one with the distance. I have the two pictures real quick. I think I put it in there. I don't know where it's at, but it's just
I put it in there.
It's pretty much. It's just like I have two pictures. Now take a look, guys. Right there. This is when you have. Look how many feet away are from people right there. He's got to be at least 100 feet away, right?
Yeah.
Right now, you see about 30 bodies, and you see a ton of bodies coming through. The next picture shows him driving up through the crowd. Now, this is something I want to talk about as well, because some people said, well, you shouldn't say they ran somebody down, they drove somebody over. There are people in front of your vehicle, and you're still going. So he didn't technically go underneath the car, so you didn't run him over.
Right.
But give me a fucking
He's not
break.
Dead, so...
What are we splitting hairs here, you fucking assholes? These guys are trying to drive through the crowd. He could have stopped. And like I said, it was just odd because I saw the LA Police Department. They were like, they did not want an incident. They didn't want this crowd to get out of control. They did more of their homework than the CHP did because they understood the significance of this protest. This is a very serious protest when an unarmed black man had a knee in his neck for 7 fucking minutes and was killed. You let them stop the traffic and you protect people around them. Yep. This is California. You're allowed to have civil disobedience. They weren't hurting anybody. It was a serious protest. What would have happened, fam? They would have stopped traffic for a half hour? Oh, my God. And then somebody just could have said, okay, guys, you had your fun. Let's get back on the streets and get back to... It would have been fine. Yeah. It was the fault of the California Highway Patrol cruiser for trying to drive through the crowd. Idiot.
And like just like focusing on this and that and like these splitting hairs, it just shows you're trying to find an excuse for the you're not taking into account what the protesters were trying to do.
It's like pro-cop people probably saying that shit.
Well, I mean, maybe, or contrarian people that are online and they're like, well, we have to look it up. Like, yes, we're looking at what happened. We were there. We saw the tone of the protest. It was not a protest to go jump on a cop car and destroy and attack police officers. No. That could have been done many times and it wasn't. And the only thing the mainstream media is showing, do you have the Bloomberg thing and what they said on the text? Because that really irritated me that they're saying, oh, the people were attacked by they attacked the cops, and
car.
They surrounded
the car and they wanted to
powerful people armed with signs and chants
Yeah.
That were really young. I'm talking between the ages of like 8. The majority of the new protesters, you could tell they were new, between the ages of 18 and 25. I mean, they weren't much older than that. Like they were excited to be there. They felt compelled. Even the Black Lives Matter crowd leaders, they were telling them, "Oh, hey, you guys are here because of George Floyd, but you should come all the time." What is that? You want to read that, fam?
Hundreds of people blocked Los Angeles freeway and attacked 2 patrol vehicles on Wednesday to protest the death of George Floyd. An American flag was also burned by demonstrators. Okay. That's really one-sided. Yeah. That's really one fucking sided. I'm telling you guys, and once again, and everybody knows, I'm not a huge fan of Black Lives Matter. Not that I don't agree with their message. I agree with their message. But the organization, sometimes I would wish it would be a little bit more coalescing of different groups, but I understand their pain, and I understand their message, especially today. And that's why I showed up with them to march with them in solidarity, and they were peaceful. They were angry, but they were peaceful. They didn't incite any violence. They just wanted to stop fucking traffic. And this happening right here to twist this whole situation, it's bullshit. That cop should have never, ever drove through that fucking crowd.
And it really irritates me that the people who often criticize mainstream media, who are like this, are taking mainstream media's word over our own. What we're telling you, this is what they were going to do. And Black Lives Matter called it. They're like, they're going to twist this. So they asked us to be witnesses and whatnot, and everything. And they burned a flag. Oh, woe is me. They burned a freaking flag. And I showed it on my Twitter live. I was live streaming that when that happened. They were doing it to show that we're not free. This country has long let people down. And that goes beyond the police brutality issue. I mean, look at what's happening in this pandemic. People are out of jobs. People are losing their houses. People don't know what to do. They're going to run out of money. The government is giving us pocket change. They don't care. We don't have health care. We're not even getting the tests we need. All of these things happening, you guys, all of this anger that you're seeing here in Minneapolis isn't just police brutality. This is everything kind of coming out, and people are just angry. And you know what? I'm not one to say we need to be violent, but there's a limit where people have reached their limit. And that's where we're at here. And if you're not listening, I mean, these people like Amy Klobuchar, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, if they're not going to listen to a peaceful revolution, they're going to make a violent revolution inevitable. And that's the reality.
What do you got, Johnny?
The super chat from Reese Mack. He said, if tanks can halt for a protester in Tiananmen Square
Tamami Square.
Yeah.
In 1989, then LAPD could have did the same.
It wasn't the LAPD. It was the California Highway Patrol. Just want to get that out there. I know a lot of people kind of gave us fucking shit for that because of the historical differences between the two, where Los Angeles Police Department has been known to be one of the most racist, worst fucking police departments out there, even as bad as New York.
And they're still doing it. This is why Black Lives Matter is protesting, because a lot of these people are being killed, and you're not even hearing about it. That day, Melina Abdullah was talking about how they killed somebody earlier in North Hollywood. They shot somebody, and she was talking about that, and nobody's heard about it. LA has, again, one of the most incidents between law enforcement and the community, and that's just happens all the time. So their whole point was trying to get people involved in the movement of what they're doing, and not just come out, because they knew that all these people were new. They knew. They were like, oh, we see many new faces here. I hope you guys come back, and I hope you don't stop, blah, 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 blah. So
I told you, fam. Black Lives Matter's got to merge with the libertarian movement, because libertarians hate cops too, and they're going to have double your people out there walking hand in hand. Remember, they killed Martin Luther King Jr. when he was about the Poor People's Campaign. When they start seeing black and white people come together, the elites go, oh, fuck, we're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And I'm liking that we see a lot of those people. Let me do it in Jesse. I like to see a lot of people in Minnesota. They're getting out there. Yeah. They're fighting for their freedom. You should never trust your government and what they do.
I agree, Jesse. I mean, pasta.
Well, what's the final verdict of this, Johnny? Final verdict, who's at fault?
Wait, Savannah, can we show that tweet from this woman and what she said?
She said, trigger warning. I am so sorry for whom this video might hurt. From the ground, these cops absolutely violently forced their way through a crowd.
Thank you. Thank you. We didn't see enough of that. All we saw was, oh no, those cops were being surrounded and stuff.
That's for all the people that weren't there.
Yeah.
It was all the people that weren't there that were saying that.
They
like
were
all
not
the people
doing
there
that.
were completely in agreement. This is especially when you were there, that's what happened. They were forcing their way through. They didn't have to do that. And there are the consequences. And stop putting always the burden of proof on the victim. That's what's always been happening until people stop taking accountability, start taking accountability. This is going to continue. There needs to be a lot of accountability taken.
Yeah. And there is some fault at the guy jumping on the hood. But once again, a bunch of people were just trying to stop the car. He wasn't trying to go for a joyride. He was part of the group trying to say, stop the car. He didn't swing in to beat the hood. He jumped on the hood to stop the car.
Yeah.
It's that, all of a sudden somebody threw a shit through the back of the windshield.
Yeah, and that
because
was
they were pushing their way through the crowd.
Yeah. And that was after. And I mean, and that's also kids that that's I don't think that was condoned by Black Lives Matter. No way. That person wasn't affiliated with Black Lives Matter
whatsoever. It's kind of funny if you watch the aerial video, Johnny, he throws the skateboard through and then he runs away like he's in trouble, then he kind of circles back around to see more. He knows. I know Johnny looked at that. I knew you would look at that. Watch, like zoom in, you'll see the kid, he'll run away and then he'll kind of circle back around this donkey.
Like, oh damn, my skateboard.
My skateboard, but fuck.
Caesar right there. Should have stopped.
And that's the one guy, the Black Lives Matter guy. He stopped the car and he was walking, and then they said people came up from behind. But look at him now; he just keeps pushing through, and they're jumping on the hood. They're like, "Stop! Stop! Stop!" Look at people getting scurried away.
There you go.
Stop! Look at that Latino girl. Just that she was crying.
Right
Boom!
There.
But you see him now. Watch him, John. Watch him run away. He goes, "Oh fuck!" And he goes running back through the crowd, and he circles in there, and he comes back once again. He was just a guy marching in the street. He was probably skating down to L.A. smoking blunts. And it's like, oh, fuck the police. Let's jump into this crowd. You know what I'm saying? And then just all hell broke loose. But that cop car should have, my personal verdict, the CHP is at fault for doing so, for driving
100%.
through this crowd. They should have never done that. When they saw 30 people hop over the rail, that he should have halted his vehicle. I still think he should have halted his vehicle, got out and went behind him and told the traffic to stop. That's what I think he should even deserve to do that. Because he was in no threat at that time. Nobody. We walked through how many cop cars? How many police officers? There was nothing. Yeah, there were some people yelling at the cops and a little bit upset. And one of those families was Cesar Rodriguez's family that was there. Did you guys want to give your final verdict?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so,
it's CHP's fault.
CHP's fault.
They're the authority. They're supposed to de-escalate the situation.
They're trained. They're supposedly trained to de-escalate. And let me tell you something. We gotta do something with that because that's not working.
Yeah. This is bullshit. And the way everybody's framing it, Bloomberg and all these fucking guys, it's disgusting. One of the families that was there, because we were there for George Floyd, but there was a lot of family members who's had children that were victim of police killings. And one of the families that we saw was Cesar Rodriguez. May he rest in peace. He was killed by a Long Beach police officer almost 3 years ago, but his family was still mourning. Now, I put the article in there if you would like to see the story, just a little quick story, and this will tell you everything. Check it out.
Jeff, the family says that this video is giving them answers tonight. As you can see behind me, there's still a few people out here. Earlier, there were dozens of people at this vigil. Tonight is the anniversary of that man's death. Watch this, a struggle between 23-year-old Cesar Rodriguez and a Long Beach police officer on a Metro rail platform is all caught on camera, shot by security cameras aboard a Blue Line train. This happened 1 year ago, and the family says the officer threw Rodriguez into the path of the oncoming train that took his life. Rodriguez's sister says it took months for them to get the video.
And when we seen that video, it was like a lot of questions that we had, as a family. We were able to get those answers.
But the Long Beach Police Department says Rodriguez accidentally fell back during the scuffle with the officer. We were there the night the rescue crews responded. The family says for 20 minutes, Rodriguez was pinned between the train and platform. He later died at the hospital.
He has family. He's able to go back to his family. My brother didn't make it back home.
Police say Rodriguez was being stopped on suspicion of not paying his fare, and then drugs were found on him, and that's when he tried to run from the officers. Then a fight between an officer and Rodriguez happened. The family's attorney says the officer never should have tackled him so closely to the tracks.
It's an example of just a complete disregard for safety.
Once again, it reminded me so much what happened yesterday. The disregard for safety.
Yeah.
You're supposed to de-escalate a situation. You're going to start tackling a guy for not paying $1.50 for a fucking train, and he's got drugs on him. What do you have, marijuana?
It just goes to show you too that poverty is criminalized.
It
here
is.
all the time. I mean, who's gonna get caught not paying their fare? Poor people, people of color. I mean, there's no denying that. Why the hell are we like prosecuting somebody? You know, they find something, now they have the drugs. Okay, like now we can take this guy. Like take him in, take him away. Why are you scuffling with him by the tracks? I mean, I understand why these people were angry.
Drugs were found
Imagine
on him, fam.
drugs. Imagine.
It's not like he's selling
it was probably
cocaine deal or
mushrooms,
something.
fam.
It was probably weed.
Probably.
But seriously, that's not a reason to go fucking tackle the guy right by the train.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. That's the
Caesar's family was there. And,
You want sound on?
yeah, I got some.
May I see your shirt? I'm so sorry.
point.
20 minutes, fam.
Yeah.
20 minutes this man was trapped between the train. It just, you know what I'm saying? When I heard about the story and I was like, wow, 20 minutes trapped between the train and the platform. What a cruciating, terrible fucking way to die.
Yep.
And to say it's an accident is not okay. It's not okay.
Where was the sense of urgency of helping him then?
It's terrible. We're out there, we're marching for George Floyd, who had a knee on his neck for 7 minutes, couldn't breathe, was saying he couldn't breathe. And then you just see stories like this, and so many of our, and once again, that officer kept his job.
Yeah.
Kept his fucking job.
He's still there. That's why they're protesting, you guys. I mean, nobody cares. So what do they have left to do? That's the whole point. And again, I want to reiterate this, that it's a power thing, what happens with the police. These are people in power that have the capacity to arrest you. They can make whatever up. And normally people are very polite with them. And, we have to be, for me, it's like, I hate that. I hate that I have to let a cop talk to me however they want. Because they're an authority figure. I'm not okay with that. Respect is earned. And if I feel like I'm being disrespected, I'm probably not going to be polite. And that's just me. Some people can't even do that. Because if they do that, they might get killed, and that's unfortunately what's happening.
Yeah.
I have a mouth. I'll probably run my mouth.
No doubt.
But
yeah.
if I were somebody else, I might get shot and die.
You saw the thing that James Elia put up yesterday too with that gentleman, and they got arrested anyways because we have our cops out there treating people like complete animals. I don't give a shit what you're going to try to tell me. It was an accident. It was a mistake. No, Cesar Rodriguez's sister said, my brother's not coming home. That cop gets to go home to his family. Okay,
it's not justice. Yeah.
It's not justice. It's not accountability. It is nothing, and it's disgusting. And I just want to say my heart also goes out to the Rodriguez family as well. Talking about people who could throw people in jail. Give us 1 second here. Gloria Jones with the super chat contribution. So when Hong Kong does worse than this, they get sanctions and resolutions in their name. But when we do it, we get Andy NGO calling us savages.
Yeah.
Gloria Jones, we love you. We hope to see you on the ROKFIN after. Remember, guys, the ROKFIN is going to be gone exclusively right after that. Fam, we're talking about Kamala Harris and people who don't prosecute people and put them in places. Why don't you tell us about somebody else who doesn't prosecute killer cops?
Yeah, so as Minneapolis State Chief Prosecutor, Amy, like Kamala, refused to prosecute killer cops. And Amy didn't prosecute Floyd's killer back in 2006. So this has been a big deal because a lot of people didn't really know about this, myself included. I know she hadn't prosecuted a lot of people. I didn't know that it turned out that it was specifically this guy who she didn't prosecute. And let me just read a little bit about this from Mint Press. This is a Klobuchar, by the way, who called for a complete and thorough investigation into what occurred. That's all she said. And those involved in this incident must be held accountable. However, this is unlikely to occur in no small part because of Klobuchar herself and the precedent she said while serving as the state chief prosecutor between 1999 and 2007. In that time, she declined to bring charges against more than 2,000 officers who had killed citizens while on duty, including against Chauvin himself, who shot and killed Wayne Reyes in 2006. And that was the same cop who literally just killed George Floyd.
Yep.
So the point of this is people like Amy Klobuchar can go on Twitter and say, we are very upset and angry for what happened, and we're going to do a thorough investigation. But that's not enough because she set all these things in motion. She put these things in as a precedent. And now these people aren't being held accountable. And this is why, because of the laws she set in motion as a prosecutor. And now Biden wants to make her possibly VP. Come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Like, these people aren't your friends.
Yeah, no, not at all. And these establishment likes, they just virtue signal out the yin-yang. When it comes time to put your money where your mouth is, they'll let these cops off the hook. They'll give that corporation their money. They'll sign that law that will screw you, the poor people. So they might sound like they're sticking up for you, the Democrats, but they're not. And this just shows it right here. This cop should have been taken off the streets, at the very least been fired back then. But he wasn't. He wasn't fired. He still kept his job and wasn't prosecuted. And what did he do? He killed somebody, and now, he's getting paid leave as he's fired.
And now he's fired, and they want to do another investigation. I'm sorry, but people are sick and tired of your investigations that never go in the favor of justice. Yeah. They never do. And the guy should be arrested and given a fair trial. But first, arrest him, because any other normal person would already be behind bars if they weren't a cop.
Yep. And it's disgusting that he got away with it and nobody did dick about it. You know, and what kind of investigation do you need to see? A guy was called upon, allegedly, for writing a bad check, and you were able to put your knee on his neck for fucking 7 minutes while he can't breathe. The proof is right there. His hand was in his pocket as he was doing it. It was disgusting. He should be arrested automatically. Then work your way back. There's enough evidence to arrest him.
Other than that scuffle with or that murder with the previous guy, Reyes, he also had other complaints, an entire list of complaints filed against him before. This is like a problematic guy that should never have that much power on his hands again. This is also about power, clearly.
Way to go, Amy. Good job, Ames.
Good job, Ames.
Good job, Ames.
It even says in her first year in office alone, the prison sentences for first-degree drug crimes doubled.
Yep. So that's what she'll look tough on crime by putting poor people in jail who are non-violent, offenders, and yet the violent people, they'll get let off the hook because they're a police officer. Bills fan 1970, thank you for the super chat contribution. It is always appreciated on the couch. Keep giving us that truth. To hell with Klobuchar and Leiden, because that's all Biden does as he becomes Joe Leiden.
Oh, God.
We'll get to him later, man. I don't want to start laughing just yet. Fam, we were in L.A. yesterday.
Yes.
But we have Minneapolis is unrest, under fire, in siege, whatever you want to call it, fam. What's going on in Minneapolis?
So Minneapolis, as we were filming stuff yesterday here, people were like, wow, Minneapolis is on fire. And there you go. Minneapolis is burning. People were on fire.
Engulfed in flames, ladies and gentlemen. I have
looting,
never seen anything like this. The building's beginning to collapse. The building
wow.
is collapsing. The building just exploded. Oh,
what is that?
God. Oh, my God. It's so hot. It's so hot. We have to back up. I've never seen anything like this. We are the closest camera to the collapse, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, oh, we have to back up. It's so hot. It's engulfed in flames, ladies and gentlemen. I have never seen anything like this.
Jesus Christ. Minneapolis on fire.
I mean, yeah. And there's a couple other things that I wanted to mention about Minneapolis.
What else we got?
There's a couple other pictures here of what
Look
it
at
looks
this one.
like.
Fire everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
What's the saying, fam? When you make the
peaceful revolution impossible, you make a violent revolution
inevitable.
So the looters, and I want to show this video because people are going on and on about the looting. I wish I could have. Oh, I forgot. Peter Dow had a great status about looting. He was like, the Democrats and Republicans are looting people. No more looting.
They're looting with the CARES Act. Where Peter Dow?
Where is your outrage on that?
Peter
though?
Dow.
Seriously, where's your outrage?
I used to hate Peter Dow.
I know
he's got it. There's people that I could not stand that I love. Mike Tyson was one of them. I couldn't stand him. Now I love Mike Tyson. I used to hate Peter Dow. Now I love him. I used to hate Neera Tanden. Now I even hate him more. So what's going on here, fam, with the looting?
So they're looting a Target. Basically, that's what's happening. Now, is this helpful? Not really. But I don't think
people just go and grabbing shit.
Yeah, and I don't exactly. So again, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Our officials haven't done shit to help us. Literally, they've given us crumbs. They're arguing about possibly giving us a few more crumbs, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to go that far. We don't have health care. We just increased the money for the police system in LA, for the police law enforcement, which was also mentioned yesterday too. We're in a situation where the working class people, middle class people are getting screwed, and on top of that, we're killing people. We're using law enforcement mechanisms of the oligarchy to kill people, and so you're seeing human reaction happen in real time. That's what you're seeing. People don't know what to do, and they're upset and angry. Is it the most intelligent thing to do? No. But why don't we focus on why this is happening?
Yeah. Well, I think Peter Dow says it's best. I mean, yeah, there's looting going on by poor people. They're running out with baskets of shampoo, deodorant, food, whatever they need to get and stuff. Like, I didn't see a bunch of people running out with TVs. I saw people running out with essentials. But, like what's going on with the looting from the United States government as this is all going on during the COVID crisis, whether you believe it in its intensity being real, not real, or not. We know the exploitation financially is beyond real. And they did a big money grab. They did a big power grab. We had on Later Pop on the show the other day. There's some mechanisms in place to try and protect us, but once again, the government gave us no safety nets.
And that's not the government. That's people like her who are lawyers and who are
protecting us against the
people.
Government.
instead of being like a big money making lawyer and a firm, she's out there helping the working people on her own dime, and like that's admirable. To me, it's extremely admirable, but unfortunately, not everybody has a person like that near them. This sucks for a lot of people. It's really, really bad.
Stacey Lammy is over on the ROKFIN with Holly Horn, Glory Jones, Frederick Murphy. We love you, and make sure that you go over and sign up on the ROKFIN, because right after the show, we're going to do an Ask Us Anything, and we're going to let you call us and tell us who you got beef with. Johnny, what do you got over there?
So to go along with the Target thing, there was a white lady who was stabbing people.
She's stabbing black people. Move, bitch! She let the white people go. Look at her.
She's stabbing! Hey! She got a knife! She got a knife! Get out of here! Hey, leave her alone! She got a knife!
Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Leave her alone. We're trying to stop her.
She's stabbing people! Jennifer, get the fuck!
Well, you can see, look at that right there. See the white lady walk right out? And she does nothing right here.
In the very beginning.
Yes. Move. Just walks out slowly. You can
Nothing.
go.
Yeah. Oh.
She's stabbing people!
But it's a black lady she tries to stab.
She tries to block.
She got it up!
But she lets the white girl go.
Yeah. Move. So she just walks out casually.
And here she tries to get in front of the door.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's a shot. She had a knife. She was not attacked. She was stabbing people, and as a result, got fire extinguished. She's alive. George Floyd is nuts. And then here, a racist white woman's favorite thing to do is play victim. She literally was stabbing black people all while letting the white looters just walk out the door. And she can walk too. There's literally a video of her walking around trying to stab people.
Oh my God, she can.
Looters who were looting Target.
The looters who looted Target did this to you? You were peacefully protesting?
I was peacefully protesting and trying to block the way so they couldn't leave when Target told us stop and had it.
Are you okay?
They attacked me from back and from front and back. They punched me in my mouth, my head. I got punched in the head several times. I got grabbed from behind. People grabbed my wheelchair. They stole my keys. They stole everything they could off.
Leave her alone. Like, don't even hurt her.
So then Ron said, I can't believe the looters committed the atrocious act of restraining that poor woman who was just trying to stab black people in order to protect the innocent shampoo bottles from leaving Target.
Ron is a genius at, like, Ron and Fiorella are the two best tweeters because she gets so much in to tell people to straighten them out. And Ron does it in, like, this funny,
so
comical
funny.
way.
I know.
That is
so
just
funny.
so true. Because I can't believe the looters committed this atrocious act of restraining that poor woman who was just trying to stab black people in order to protect the innocent bottles of shampoo from leaving Target. Hashtag shampoo lives matter.
They do, Ron.
They do.
They do. Okay.
Thank you for the
Don't
super
get
chat.
it wrong.
Thank you for the super chat contribution from Matt Ides. Live in MPLS, I think that's Minneapolis. Tonight is going to be worse and spreading to St. Paul. You better believe it, because until justice is done, until that police officer is arrested, shit's going to happen.
And it's spreading everywhere. And by the way, Los Angeles is having another protest Saturday.
Yeah. And once they go through this whole thing, and I know they're trying to shake it as, that guy dropped on the hood. You shouldn't be reporting that. You're actually hurting the whole movement by reporting the falseness of it.
Oh, shut the hell up.
Yeah, I know. Where's my hat on my head? My bald head. But let me tell you something. Once again, we plain and simple, we showed you to it. It was a peaceful protest until the asshole tried to drive through the crowd.
So to go along with that, also I just added that
He's got something else.
Someone said that a bunch of undercover cops were the main ones starting the arsons, which is interesting. So let's watch this real quick.
Interesting.
Because then they could have excuses for killing people.
Well, hold on. This guy, there was another one first. Yeah, it was this one. Wow, where is it? No.
Oh, it's this one. Yeah.
That's the house.
By Garrity.
Hold on. I gotta find it.
Oh.
I gotta find it. Give me a second.
Okay,
no doubt.
No problem.
We're right while Johnny's trying to follow that. We also we'll jump to in a second. The cops, you said, and I didn't know this, were reportedly guarding the house of the cop who killed George Floyd.
Yeah.
So in other words, they had a bunch of fucking cops out front
in
of his
SWAT
house.
gear. In SWAT gear, by the way. We're gonna
how
show
many?
it in a
How
minute.
many there?
I don't know. It's a lot of them.
That's in front of his house.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
Oh, Jesus.
And here's the thing, you guys. Like I said, later on when we
fucking people are defending this killer's house. Look how fucking many are defending this killer's house. Look how fucking many are defending this killer's house. Look how fucking many are defending this killer's house. Look how fucking many. Look how fucking many. Look how fucking many. Look how fucking many are defending this killer's house. Look at this shit.
That really is some crock of shit there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a crock of shit that they'll have that many people to protect this one fucking guy.
Yeah. Who's killed multiple people now.
Fucking.
By the way. Multiple people.
Sorry for cursing, Ma, but it's the time.
So here's the thing. Like, would we have that many cops protecting?
No, we're not.
We'd be in jail and we'd be probably behind bars for a very long time if we did anything like that, right? Like they'd be calling
thrown in jail, high bail.
They'd probably kill us in jail. Like what? You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. It's not just like that they're it also says a lot about the culture. Like, they protect each other. They protect each other.
100 cops.
We had even more cops.
Ridiculous.
They almost have as many cops as we had in the entire precinct in LA at night. In the same kind of gear. In the same kind of gear.
Because they were waiting for the riots to come that way. And they should. They really should. It's terrible. Johnny, did you find your clip?
Yes.
All right. Give me the loot. I'm a bad boy.
So here's Misty says, here it is. It's the one. Watch. I have it queued up to start right at the camera guy. Here's the smashing noises. So.
I gotta move. Holy shit.
So 1331.
Guys. What's up? I ain't got part of that shit.
Yeah, somebody brought this up to my attention.
Well,
Did somebody want to say, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's weird. He was holding an umbrella.
And then
guy just came with a hammer and smashed the windows.
Follow me. I'm gonna fight you right now.
You wanna go? What's up? Somebody hold my blunt. Hey, somebody hold my blunt. I'm gonna give it up. Hey. Are you a fucking cop? What's up?
Okay. That's fucked up. John.
That was weird. I don't know.
That's
it's weird.
fucked up. Are you a cop? Like, let me tell you something. We've read in these books before, when it comes to CI tactics, what they do is they have people join the mobs to start and instigate and really start shit. They just did it with the whole Ukrainian thing. They sent actually those Ukrainian white nationalists to Hong Kong to join the protest, to go after the cops, to make it look the cops get bad and get mad and go back at them, so they can actually use this as propaganda to justify their fucking means. And this is what it's going to justify. It's going to justify the Minnesota cops hurting people and killing people to try to keep law and order, because you got guys out there instigating shit and making it look like it was the protesters. You saw him. He was like, what are you, a cop? Who are you pushing? What's going on? That was really, really fucking
and the
shady.
way he was knocking windows, which is like, bam, like, that's not how you do things if you're protesting, by the way.
No. If you're a protester, like in Black Lives Matter LA, you stop traffic. You get people frustrated, so they got to see what it's like.
Yeah.
You stop traffic. There's no violence.
You get their attention.
What the fuck?
You force them to pay attention.
What's this last one here? It says something about the diversity of people and the amount of people showed up to support is amazing. Mm-hmm. Sad that people have to even do stuff like this, but this is America.
This is America.
Oh, I'm turning that off.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get copyright immediately.
This is America. Okay, but this is something we talked about the other day. I'm very happy of seeing this. There's a lot of diversity, and I think this is what.
And there was a lot of diversity in the LA crowd.
Yes, but
definitely.
That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for that someone special that's going to pull it together. That's going to pull it together and say, hey, listen, they might be killing more of us at an alarming rate, but they're coming for you next. And thank you for being here. We need to come together, because it's the elites who are trying to take us down. And that means don't praise fucking politicians who are pro-imperialist piece of shits like the Maxine Waters and all these other people's whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get deep into it, but this is something I've pointed out before. I like the diversity in what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's join together.
We need to do all these little movement protests and then eventually string them together. We need to promote them, continue having these little spurts, because they're actually happening. But we need to make sure that we connect them in some way, as this is not just about our cause, it's our cause, and then also for everybody else.
Yeah.
As well.
Johnny, you pulled up something, I think the article before this, it says the Minneapolis police officer at the center of George Floyd's death had a history of complaints. Once again, we pointed out that Amy Warbachar let this man off the hook, but this guy had a history of complaints, and they let him stay on the streets. I don't want to watch that video again. It pisses me off.
Yeah.
It makes me so fucking upset.
I haven't even seen this angle.
Yeah, this is a different angle. But
I mean, look at this guy's out. You know what I'm saying? There was a woman with him?
there was a lady who filmed. There was a lady who filmed at the other point, and she came out and spoke recently of what she saw. And she was crying as she was telling her story.
I bet. It's hard. It's hard to deal with. It's hard to stomach.
Even what we saw yesterday, it was hard. It took a lot out of us. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, we slept in today because we were so emotionally drained from yesterday. I mean, it was just really hard to deal with because, you're seeing these people's pain and whatnot. But once again, it was a peaceful protest. We were there. People were on edge, but nobody was in trouble. Nobody was in danger. Even towards the latter part where they got the LA Police Department kind of like in mode, looking aggressive, nothing went down after that too as well. And that's after a cop car went through a crowd. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And a cop car did go through the crowd. And I want to keep reiterating that.
Does that look like resisting arrest?
No. She gets out of the car.
No, up here.
No, he's not resisting arrest. I mean, even if he is resisting arrest.
But
the other cop left him alone. That's how confident he felt that everything was okay with that other person over there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even if you're resisting arrest in a way, you hold him down. You don't choke somebody. And that's not even badly resisting. He's trying to figure out why am I being put in cuffs? What is going on?
You mentioned the other day.
He's in cuffs right now.
Libertarians are always like, why am I being arrested? What is? I have my
rights. Am I being detained? Am I free to go?
Yeah.
Am I being detained? I'm holding this on for our protection and your protection. Are you detaining me? I mean, fam. Yeah. Like I'm saying, again, can you imagine though?
But again, he doesn't have the ability to do that either.
Well, not for nothing, there's a script to follow. And the libertarian base has gotten that script around to their own people. A lot of people are doing it and stuff like that. And that's something that needs to be used because you know why? It will be helpful in a court of law. It will more disprove each police department around the nation if, in fact, you follow the script and the police avoid that.
Yeah, well, if they follow the script and they still get
It's
killed,
not a hard script to follow. I saw this Latino kid just use it the other day. It was masterful. And his line was like, hey, these are my rights. If you don't use them, you're going to lose them. So am I being detained? No. Am I free to go? No. Can I see your information? No. Do I have to give you my information? Am I being detained? No. I don't have to give you my information. I don't have to tell you who I am. You know what I'm saying? But it's the whole process. Like I said, the libertarians hate fucking cops. They really do. They feel they're a big infringement on their civil liberties. They're just an arm of the deep state and the fucking elites. So there are bonds to be made, and I would like to see this bond be made to show a real force. Can you imagine if that crowd was 3 times the size and there was a lot of white people and black people together walking in the streets? The elites would shit their pants. But until we do that, they're going to still use the divide and conquer method.
Again, the crowd did need to be bigger, especially at night. You know, they still, because they were trying to intimidate people, and they sent people in riot gear. And, you know, like we need to show our numbers, guys. We need to show our numbers. Okay, so
let's get to the good news, the serious news. Breaking news, fam.
Biden had an accident on
Biden shit his pants on live TV.
According to it's called Sharkgate. That's what people are calling it. I'm so sorry.
Did you say Sharkgate?
Sharkgate, yeah.
Oh my God, Johnny, play it. Who farted? Sharkgate.
Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost programs? Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost
Wait, one more time.
Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost
oh my God.
Or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost or stop work on
I can listen to it time. I was laughing so loud. I was trying to help myself not laughing so loud because Sharkgate was upon us. Joe tried to slip one out. You could see see how he leans forward and lifts like this.
Okay? Oh my God!
He's trying. Fam, I'm an expert at this.
You are. It sounds just like you.
Okay. You know how many times I'll be.
Or stop work on roads and bridges. So, what does the human cost? Or stop work on roads and bridges. So, what does the human?
So, question out there, ladies and gentlemen. Did Joe Biden shit his pants on that fart? Johnny put the governor's face. The governor's face is the best. So, Donald Trump retweeted this. It's like that meme. Donald Trump.
Of course he did. Of course he did. Of course he did.
Oh, God. Sharkgate is on.
Is there rigging in New Jersey?
Okay, so one of our people, the case study, part of the MCSE network, especially on Twitter. He does a lot of great videos.
New Jersey already sucks, so I don't understand. Like, can it get any worse?
It could.
Sorry, Russ.
Okay, it could. Check this video out that he made, whatnot. And fam, we talked about this. It's we need an overhaul of the whole electoral system. You know what I'm saying? We need more activists involved in this, like younger activists, whatnot, who understand that it's them that's going to pay the price for these fugazi elections in New Jersey.
Today joined some of the losing candidates in calling for investigators to get to the bottom of this election mess fast. This is the head of the local NAACP says this election was so tainted, it's time for a new election with a better process.
Invalidate the election, let's do it again.
Reverend Kenneth Clayton heads the Patterson NAACP. He says with 1 in 5 votes disqualified and growing concerns about voter fraud, he says this local council election was not fair.
These kind of acts make people not want to vote anymore. They feel disenfranchised, disconnected, think that their votes don't count, and that's not fair to people.
Examples, meet activist Ernest Rucker. He says he never got a ballot in the mail, but election records show someone voted using his ballot.
I was robbed at the right to vote or not vote,
I was disenfranchised.
This is New Jersey's Deputy Assembly Speaker.
My vote and my wife and 2 sons' votes did not count in this past municipal election.
He says no explanation yet if there were questions about signature matches, but his vote as of now among the 20% cast aside.
That's how you disenfranchise voters. I mean, that's the bottom line.
In addition to apparent problems with the vote count, News 4 has shown how stacks of ballots were left scattered in building lobbies. There's social media of a single voter handling numerous votes. And postal officials say bundles of ballots were found in mailboxes in Patterson and even in another town. 2 candidates who lost won by just 6 votes, angry and calling for a recount and criminal investigation.
They should take a careful look at how the Patterson election went, put the corrective action in place.
The integrity of the election is in question.
Even one of the winners agrees.
It's good to know that they're doing an investigation, but what's the status?
Control of $300 million in city spending lies in the balance. $1 billion if you count school budgets and state aid, says this longtime Patterson reporter.
This is not just a problem that affects political figures in Patterson. This affects the city, the surrounding community, and the state as a whole.
Wow. But there was no rigging in the primary against Bernie Sanders. By the way, it's all conspiracy theory.
Nope.
You guys are just making it up.
Making it up.
Nobody likes Bernie. His policies didn't resonate with America.
Have the most
we
people
just have to
out
try
there.
harder. We should try a centrist next
You guys
time.
are underestimating Biden. How many people love Joe Biden?
Yeah.
He didn't even have to come to California.
The youth
and he got
didn't
the
come out
votes.
for Bernie.
Oh yeah, right.
The youth.
They didn't sit there
Guys,
for 8 hours.
How did you feel when it said it was a room full of ballots just hanging out all over the place? Didn't that just make you remind you of the provisional ballots we saw everywhere? We're like, oh my God! And they said almost 20% of the votes were just cast aside. They even talked about the post office, how they got a bunch of ballots. And once again, who's picking up those ballots? Where are they going? And then people who said that they didn't get, somebody voted for him.
Yeah,
he's like,
that's even worse.
somebody took my vote and voted for me.
I'd be so angry.
Once again, and we've talked about all this shit. They didn't even talk about the computer suppression that might be going on. They didn't even get to that part. They didn't even talk about the whole process of when it takes to go and vote, and maybe the suppression that would go over there too as well, because you have a new system that will just make long lines inevitable. So, I mean, here it is again. Thank you, what's his name, Case Study, for doing so.
Yeah.
But our elections are fucked.
They're fucked.
They're fucked.
Yep. And if anybody wants to run for office and they don't mention election reform, I'm not voting for them.
Yeah. We need to say we need election.
100%.
The whole system
that
needs
has to be one of your top
That's
issues.
what I'm saying. That's one of the things that determines who a true rebel is. You recognize election integrity, foreign policy, domestic policy, and you got the fire in your heart.
Yes.
That's right.
Protection of our civil liberties.
Oh.
All right.
Of
I had to slip it in there. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's in there. It's in
Assange.
there.
I gotcha.
Assange.
There are 9 people hanging out on the ROKFIN. Johnny, you got anything else before we go away and come back? How long are we going to go away for?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
We're going to go away for 5 minutes. We're going to leave YouTube, everybody, but go on over to the ROKFIN. Thank you.
Free.
Anthony Chisholm. Yes, it is free. Frederick Murphy. Chisholm. Glory Jones. She's already there. Stacy Lamy. Guys, we're going to do some call-ins if you want to call in. Speak to the couch. Speak to Fee. Speak to Johnny. Speak to Pasta. Tell us who you got beef with out there. What's really grinding your gears or whatever you got. Something like that. We'll have fun. Please do so. So this is it for our YouTube edition. Remember, our new platform, our new system, our new process is where we're going to stream live on YouTube, our new format. Can't even get my words straight. We're going to stream live on YouTube and on Patreon and on our Twitter like Fiorella did yesterday during the rally. But then we're going to take those streams down, except we're going to leave it up on ROKFIN, and you can get it on our Patreon. However, we will put shareable clips back up on our YouTube where you can go and share all over the place because we know you love us, right? Oneness, who's there. Thanks, she says, or he says. But that is the new format. So please go over right now. Sign up for ROKFIN. We're going to start in about 5 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to sign up. We're starting in 5. And if you have a few extra bucks, for $9.99 a month, you can endorse us. And that means you get premium content because you can have either free content or premium content, but you get all the premium content from all the channels.
You can see all the hilarious trivia we've done.
Absolutely.
Everybody's premium content on there.
You can see how I've won.
No ads on anything.
Graham has shows that's only up there.
No
Ron has
ads.
shows that's only up there. Nico has shows that are only up there.
No ads even on the free stuff.
Yes.
There's not even ads on the free stuff.
No
So
ads.
it's like YouTube with no ads if you,
Ad free. And it's actually helping the content creators way more than
helping us a
YouTube. We're building this platform from the ground up, and we are so excited to be part of the ROKFIN fam. For our fams, I am Pasta Jardula.
I'm Fiorella.
Johnny Sue is on the 1s and 2s. Get on over to ROKFIN. We'll be there soon.
We are Bizzle.
Convo pause.
Convo pause.